continues at round 5 from Silverstone ahead of British Grand Prix Sunday. But before we bring you today's bumper BTC action, yesterday was a barnstormer. The 24 of Ryan Frost got the whole shot from second on the grid. We had a 7-way tussle at the front of the field. However, the 7 soon became 5 as Frost, Cup leader 29 Lucas Brown, 43 Emmanuel Brinton, 40 Julian Correa and Harrison McKay on bike 61 became your main players for the win. There were overtakes galore as the top 2 in the standings continued to swap the lead, but they wouldn't have it all their own way. The Floridian Correa on the all-white machine kept his powder dry and soon made his way from the back to the front of the group. But as we approach the conclusion of the race, it was then fibre breast across the hangar straight into Stowe. We expected Brown to do what he did yesterday and swoop into the lead at Stowe, but Frost remained ice cool and took the advantage and denied the cup leader by 0.1 of a second for his third victory of the season. Frost aiming to become and make it a super Silverstone weekend in race 2. Well, good morning from Silverstone on Sunday ahead of British Grand Prix. It is flying the British flag ahead of round number 5 from British Talent Cup. It's a lot cooler than it was yesterday, 14 degrees Celsius out there in the air and only 68 degrees Fahrenheit, 20 degrees Celsius on track. Much cooler than it was yesterday. The clouds are starting to dissipate now in and around Silverstone, and we look forward to what we hope is a repeat of race number 1 from yesterday. The fans are out in their droves. They're a little bit more chilly than they were yesterday. However, we are stuck up here in the commentary box and feeling quite cool, dry and warm. Myself, Liam Hodgins, bringing you today's British Talent Cup action alongside my good friend and colleague Elliot York once more, and we're looking forward to what was a great race 1 yesterday, and we hope for more of the same today.
Yeah, we certainly do. Morning everyone listening and watching on. An early start for us this morning, but when your alarm goes off at 6, sometimes you feel a little bit annoyed, but not today, because we've got a bumper day of action coming up at the British Grand Prix, starting off with race 2 from the British Talent Cup. And yeah, if yesterday is anything to go by, we are in for an absolute barnstormer on Sunday morning here. It was a fantastic race. We've seen it so often this year. Liam, only 3 gaps between the winner and second place have been above a tenth of a second this year, and yesterday was actually one of them, despite it being a fantastic race. It just goes to show how close the racing is in British Talent Cup. What a race we had. It went all the way down to the final sector on the final lap. 5 riders battling out for victory, and if we get the save again, I'll be more than happy.
Yeah, 100% there, and we probably should expect maybe 6 today at the front, because the number 75 of Filip Soroviak had to start from the pit lane after being hustled off the grid due to a bike problem or just stalling on the grid. He came through from the pit lane to 13th to pick up 3 important cup points, and he will be starting from pole position after setting the fastest lap of the race. And it wasn't even just the fastest lap by a minuscule amount, it was almost 0.3 of a second.
Yeah, unfortunately he stalled the bike on the grid, did Soroviak, and had to pull off and into pit lane. His first lap was a 2:50 because he had to start from pit lane, so he lost around about 25 seconds to the leaders and to everyone pretty much, obviously, who started on the grid. And then at the flag he finished 22 seconds behind the race winner, so made up 3 seconds despite carving his way through the pack from P26 all the way to P13. So yeah, Soroviak had superb pace yesterday. Obviously he had to get the hammer down after the mistake on the grid, and obviously got his head down and came back through the points. If you're starting from pit lane in a 10-lap race and make it into the points, then it's a very good job well done from anyone. So yeah, Filip Soroviak doing really well. Hopefully he doesn't have the same mistake in race 2 today. Starting from pole position, he's going to be in the race victory shout, because yeah, setting the fastest lap by over 2 tenths on equal machinery to everyone else is really impressive. So a great race considering what happened yesterday for Soroviak, but obviously he'll be disappointed that he had that pace and only managed to come away with a P13.
Yeah, it was such a shame for him yesterday, but he will take solitude in the fact that he was incredibly fast and he'll be in the victory hunt here today. We just saw a few riders going through the pit lane, and hopefully they can get back around, because we are less than 10 minutes away from the start of this race around this 5.66 kilometre Silverstone circuit, which does of course, go through 2 counties of Buckinghamshire and Northamptonshire, so it's a huge circuit here, the biggest of the season for the British Talent Cup riders. We just saw the number 24 there of Ryan Frost. He picked up his 3rd victory of the season, and he's now 46 points off Lucas Brown, who finished behind him, so he's closing in the championship ever so slightly. But we got to chat to him after qualifying yesterday, and he said he didn't want to lead onto the Hangar Straight because he knew he would have been swamped, and he played it absolutely brilliantly. We expected Lucas Brown to maybe swoop into lead at Stowe, but Frost just let off the brakes and rolled it around the outside to take an impressive victory, and an important one as well.
Yeah, placed himself perfectly, didn't he, on the final lap? As you say, Liam, he said he didn't want to lead on the Hangar Straight, and he didn't. And he picked up at least a 2-bike slipstream and just carved his way through the middle of the pack. A couple of riders went to the left, a couple went to the right, trying to avoid the slipstream, and Frost said, "Thank you very much, I'm going to go up the insides, take the lead," and yeah, held it round Vale. We saw a couple of times early on in the race, didn't we? Brown was able to outbrake everyone else down into Vale, even around the outside. So the job wasn't done by any means for Frost going into Stowe Corner. But yeah, he got the job done, and another fantastic victory for Frost. That's 2 wins in the last 4 races, 3 in the last 6 for Frost. He's not out of this title frame just yet. 46 points down now on Lucas Brown. It's obviously a substantial margin to try and make up, with only 3 rounds left after this one. But yeah, if he can keep on doing what he's doing, then he's in with a real shout of picking up the trophy later on in the year, but obviously a long way to go.
We just saw there the number 40 of Julian Correa on the all-white machine. He picked up 3rd place yesterday. He led so brilliantly at times yesterday, and pulled probably the overtake of the year from 5th to 1st into Maggots and Beckett's. I did talk to him about that after qualifying, after the race yesterday, and he was just like, yeah, wow, that was a mega overtake. He did enjoy it, but he thought he was going to get squeezed out a little bit. However, he did pay a great tribute to his former team boss John Cresswell, who we unfortunately lost just after Snetterton, just before Snetterton a few months ago, and he just said that he was always like family to the Cresswell family, and they brought him in and treated Julian like family, and when he was starting to doubt himself, John helped pick himself back. John Cresswell picked Julian back up again, and that podium yesterday was very well earned for him.
Yeah, that's great to hear. Obviously, Julian Correa paying tribute to John Cresswell, who's sadly missed in the paddock, of course. Yeah, Correa back on the podium, and it was a much-needed podium for Correa and his confidence. He's 66 points down now in the championship chase, so all he's got to really do is...
We've got a problem here for Harlan McCabe.
Trying to make up points. Yeah, we do. The number 7, not sure what that is moment in time, but definitely looks like a bike problem out there.
Yeah, that's a disaster there for Harlan McCabe, who picked up his first podium here 2 years ago, a double podium here in Silverstone. Wonder what's happened there for Harlan McCabe. The marshals are trying to get him going again. We'll see what happened. Yeah, mechanical potentially, just bike cried enough, and that was it. That looks like it might be over towards the beginning of the Hangar Straight, Elliot.
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it's a potential clutch issue. You can see his left leg there trying to go up and down the gears, and he's just grinded to a halt. It's obviously difficult to tell from where we are, but clearly, unfortunately for the number 7 of Harley McCabe, it could potentially be race over if they can't get that bike back to the pits. And if there's a problem with less than, well, we've got about 5 minutes until the race start, less than 5 minutes. So unfortunately for the number 7 of McCabe, had to start from the back of the grid yesterday as well. Didn't set a lap in qualifying, came up to finish in P12, so another good comeback ride. But yeah, unfortunately that could be race 2 done and dusted for the number 7.
That's a big shame there. He would have been starting from the 5th row of the grid in 13th, but as you say, looks like it could be curtains for his British Grand Prix weekend here at Silverstone. Even if he can get the bike back to the pits, it will be a mega job from his mechanics to try and get the bike ready. As we see, the mechanics are now starting to get hustled off the grid. Some of the bikes just turned up there. We just saw Philip Soroviak, your pole setter. He just turned up, and all of a sudden, as soon as he got rolled into position, the mechanics were told to get off the grid.
Well, I mean, yeah, there's no point sitting on the grid if you can get an extra couple of laps on the board. Obviously, different conditions yesterday. Obviously, still dry, but different air temperatures, a cooler track temperatures as well. So slightly different conditions yesterday. Won't be too much of a difference, I don't think, for these riders, and they'll have obviously raced in these conditions throughout the year already. But yeah, if you can get another couple of laps under your belt, just get a feel for the conditions of the Soroviak, starting from pole position, fancies a bit of confidence, a bit of feel. Yeah, there's no point in sitting on the grid for longer than you need to.
Yeah, exactly. Another rider that we might have to keep an eye on. We did see flashes of him, those flashes of white and yellow at some point in yesterday's race. Finished 6th come the flag ahead of the second group. The rookie Mason Foster, he starts 3rd on the grid today. Did take a podium all the way back in race 2 at Navarra, round number 1, and he's come through the mini bike Fab series for the last couple of years and really shown his form. And Elliot, that's a really horrible sight to see. Poor Harley McCabe, who, not just the riders but all the teams and the families put in so much effort to be here, and just for it to be small mechanical and just ripping it all away from you before the start.
Yeah, such a shame to see. Obviously all these riders will be super pumped to be racing in front of the British GP fans. They did yesterday and they'll be doing so again today on Sunday as well. Extra special for these guys. So yeah, super unfortunate for Harley McCabe. Thoughts go out to him and the team. Unfortunately they won't be racing here on Sunday morning, but the good news is he's all okay. It's just a problem with the bike, so not a complete disaster, but yeah, unfortunate for McCabe.
Yeah, big shame for him. However, here is the starting grid. Philip Soroviak on pole position after setting the fastest lap in race 1 yesterday, ahead of Julian Carrera and Mason Foster, the rookie, on the outside of row 1. Your cup leader, Lucas Brown, he wanted to extend his championship lead over his nearest rival, and he did to 31 points yesterday. He's starting ahead of the likes of Brinton, and further back we've got Bowles, Harris and Payne on row number 4, McCabe, Raymond Jr. and Harris on row 15. Then Josh Bannister, Rowan and Barnes on row number 6. Just behind them we have Dan Goodman, Peter Willis on bike number 99 and George Burrows on bike 16. Ben Jolliffe next up on row 8 ahead of Eli Banish and Dan Jones on row number 8. Rounding off your final row of the grid is the Munson burner. It is Munson ahead of Eli Devine. So the riders make the way round the loop on the warm-up lap, and we are now starting to see a lot of the fans now hustled away into the grandstands. We are starting to get a big crowd in and around the start-finish line down towards the Abbey and Farm curves, and of course the loop, and we expect big things from a lot of these British Talent Cup riders. We do see there the championship standings, 29 important points. That's a full race ahead and a little bit more of change from Lucas Brown to Brinton and Frost and Correa. They're starting to try and get themselves back into the championship, but it looks like it just might be a two-way fight. But if Frost can continue on what he did yesterday, Elliot, it could be a three-way fight.
Yeah, that's exactly what he'll be hoping for. Brown is doing everything he can, all he needs to do really in terms of the championship. He's not won for a few rounds, he's not run since round 3. Last 4 races though, he has been on the podium, and 3 of those have been a P2 finish. So if you're not going to win, then the best you can do is finish P2, and Brown is pretty much doing that. He's only finished off the podium once, and that was a P4. So yeah, Brown has been super impressive this season, putting his bike where he needs to be on the podium. And it's going to be interesting to see how this one plays out, because it all came down to the last lap. The top 5 all locked together, split by 4/10 at the flag. It doesn't get any closer than that to the finish, and it's going to be interesting to see what the riders have learned, maybe homework last night, seeing where they can improve. Obviously potentially re-watching the race as well to see where the bits of track they could make up some time, do a little bit better on. So this is going to be a really interesting race, Liam. I don't want to call it at this stage because we've got 10 laps of ferocious British Talent Cup action coming up, and I'm pumped for it.
Oh, same here, Elliot, and I'm a little bit gutted you didn't want to predict anything there, because I was going to ask you. However, what I can predict is we're going to have a barnstorming race at number 2. It's Sunday morning here at Silverstone ahead of MotoGP's British Grand Prix. Another couple of riders I want to quickly mention. Scott McPhee, he'll be starting 7th on the grid. He got his best ever British Talent Cup result in the series yesterday with 7th place, and starting alongside him in 8th was Harrison McKay. He picked up his equal best result in race number 1 yesterday, just missing out on the podium. But watch it for the number 61. You just see him pulling up to the grid spot just behind your pole sitter. So he is another rider to watch out from on row number 3. Mason Foster in 3rd position on row number 1, the sensational rookie. He starts alongside Julian Correa, the Floridian, on what has to be one of the coolest looking helmets, and not just on the grid but in any racing series. There is Emmanuel Brinton, 29 points now behind your championship leader Lucas Brown on the number 43. And there he is, Lucas Brown, 29 on row number 2. The red lights come on, the revs rise for Silverstone here, and it's a great start from pole from Soroviak, but Julian Correa just gets off the line a little bit better, pulls alongside the number 75, Lucas Brown from row number 2, he's lost into 4th, but Frost, race 1 winner yesterday, pole setter yesterday, he swoops into the lead, into Abbey, through farm they go, Correa into 2nd, Soroviak, he's been shuffled down the order into 3rd, but Correa diving early for the lead. Here comes McKay, I think that might be, on the number 6. Oh, I've got a collision there. That looks to be the 67 of Bowes. So Bowes has been tagged there by another red. That may have been Edmonds potentially clattered into Bowes. So that's a big disaster. Hopefully the number 67 is okay. But as they make their way down the Wellington Straight once more, Ryan Frost has got a few big tenths of advantage so far. So both he's out, confirmation of that. But 3 abreast for 2nd position. But it's Brown once more as Correa looks up the inside of Soroviak. But for now, Frost, he's off and running at the front.
Yeah, Foster didn't get away well from his debut front row, unfortunately, on the number 828. There he is in picture P6 now, I think he is. Brinton also didn't get away well from the 2nd row, but he's making amends for that now. He's up to P5. He's got a little bit of work to do to catch the leaders at this moment in time. The top 4 all getting away nice and early in this race, especially Frost at the front, the number 24. But as we saw yesterday, the gaps do close pretty quickly with the slipstream here at Silverstone.
Yeah, they do indeed. Maybe Foster and Brinton are maybe caught up in that tangle at turn number 3. There's Emmanuel Brinton in 5th spot there as we see Correa once more trying to go for that overtake into Magus and Beckett's. We saw him do so brilliantly yesterday. He's trying to go around the outside through Beckett's now of Soroviak. Has to slot back into 4th position. That would be extremely difficult to do that there as he powers through onto the hangar straight for the first time. It's still Frost that leads away from Brown. They've got a couple of big tenths advantage over Soroviak. Correa, Brinton's now in the back of them. McKay on 61 with Foster just behind them a little bit further back, and Brown, as we saw so many times yesterday, he swoops into the lead. He's the latest of the late breakers into Stowe. He's now shuffled race winner yesterday, Frost into 2nd spot. We've got chopping and changing for 3rd and 4th position. Soroviak for now continues to lead it once more, but as we exit lap number 1, it's your Cup Series leader ahead of race 1 winner yesterday. It's Brown from Frost as we start lap 2.
Yeah, Brown loves to lead from the front. He loves to overtake on the brakes as well. Loses out a bit on the straight with his stature, but certainly makes it up for the brakes, and that's a great move around the outside at Abbey from Frost. So yeah, these two continuing their battle from yesterday, and the group behind have now caught up. Soroviak in 3rd, Correa in 4th, lunging at the inside, showing a wheel. Soroviak trying to go around the outside of Brown, but that's a difficult rider to pass around the outside, a difficult rider to pass no matter what the circumstances. But the top 4, top 5, sort of top 6 now all locked together after the top 4 are threatening to just get away in the opening exchanges.
Yeah, the first 5, that's right. I guess we're going to get a replay of what happened at turn 3. We see Ryan Frost from row 2 from 5th on the grid get a cracking launch off the line, and he swooped into the lead into Abbey, then Farm kept it through there. So if we continue on and we look a little bit further back there at this attack there, that was definitely the 67 of Bowes, and 28 I believe that's Charlie Barnes. He was also caught up in that one as well. It looked like he was gesticulating. It might have been somebody else's fault there, Elliot.
Yeah, tricky to see who that was, but I think potentially someone just getting a little bit too greedy on the brakes going down into Village turn 3, and unfortunately for George Bowes, that's the end of his race. Hopefully he's up and all okay, but yeah, disappointing start to the race for Bowes and an end to his British Grand Prix. Not nice to see.
Yeah, thankfully he seemed to be moving, and thankfully, well, hopefully he is okay. As we see Correa once again around the outside through Magus into Beckett's. He's made it stick. The 40 machine, no, the Floridian, oh, he hasn't quite made it stick there, but he's trying so many different lines, some overtakes you wouldn't even think of on any other different machine. But Julian Correa is really setting Silverstone alight with his overtakes over the top, round the outside. Doesn't matter, Julian Correa will try and make a move where he can. But Lucas Brown again, and Frost, he's went from 1st all the way back to 4th. He did say yesterday in the final lap he didn't want to lead onto the hangar straight, and that's exactly why.
Yeah, here we go again. Then this is your top 5 plus Soroviak, the pole sitter. The fastest lap yesterday was set by Soroviak, remember, on his way to P13 from a pit lane start. So we've got the top 6 that we were expecting. Mason Foster just behind Scott McPhee now. They're about 1.6 seconds off the lead group. Fastest laps of the race coming in. Harrison Mackay setting the fastest of them all before Ronnie Harris did, the number 66. So they've got some catching up to do. Just over a second is Scott McPhee to the front groups. Let's see if they can sort of box clever in the next few laps and try and bridge that gap to the top 6.
Oh, there we go. Charlie Barnes, the 28 on screen. Long lap penalty for irresponsible riding. So the Cleveland Steward looked at that and deemed him responsible for the lap 1 incident with George Bose. So great shame there for Charlie Barnes. We did see him look across at his pit board, so he must have seen that he was given a penalty. So yeah, that seems to be his race done and run here today at Silverstone for race number 2. We do have the 5 at the front we had yesterday, including the 6th one, Filip Soroviak, who did set the fastest lap of the race to start on pole position here today. These 6 are the cream of the crop here at Silverstone this weekend. They've now distanced the gap between the 19 of Scott McPhee and Ronnie Harris, who did set the fastest lap of the race. We saw him do that in the early stages yesterday, but he wasn't able to maintain that pace and catch the leading group. Maybe today might be a little bit different in these cooler conditions. Thankfully, it is a little bit cool today, which means tyre consumption might not be as big as it would have been yesterday, Elliot.
Yeah, potentially not. No, cooler conditions do certainly help the tyres in some circumstances, and what we do know from yesterday as well, these guys are going to be battling out corner by corner, lap by lap. So that's what I mean by if the group behind can just play it a little bit clever, try and stick in each other's slipstream, not slow each other up too much, so they can bridge that second or so gap to the front guys. There's 4 of them there just trying to catch the leaders, led by Scott McPhee over the line, Harris, Edmonds and Foster in that group as well. Foster on the number 8 machine there just at the back of your picture. It is the number 66 of Harris though leading that group as we go about 5 abreast into Stoke Corner. I think we're going to see that a few more times this race, Lee.
Yeah, indeed we will. Correa almost coming back onto the racing lane and making contact with Brown. Soroviak, he's looking for a move into the club chicane on Correa, makes it stick. That was a very nice move indeed by the Polish and UK-born rider. So Brown continues to lead the way ahead of Soroviak. Correa on the 40, he's in third ahead of Frost. Brenton, he's now making a move. Brenton, fastest lap of the race. No, that goes to Ronnie Harris now, who does set consecutive laps, fastest laps of the race, and he's now bridging the gap to the leading duo. So it's only leading group, not leading duo, the 6 of them. So he's about 7/10 of a second off this leading group, and as they continue to squabble into the loop, this is going to be like music to the ears for the chasing pack. As we can see now, there's barely any gap between the top 6 and the chasing group.
Yeah, good half-second quicker with the group behind, led by Harris. Yeah, slight contact there on the exit of turn 4. Brown leading again, but yeah, the group behind, led by Harris on the number 66, is catching the leaders. 7/10 over the line. It's a little bit smaller than that as we go about 6 abreast down into Brooklands. Fantastic racing as Brinton takes the lead.
Oh, amazing stuff there, 6 abreast into Luffield. And the great thing about this circuit is you can maybe get about 12 abreast on this track. It's absolutely huge. A 5.66 kilometre Silverstone circuit, new best race lap record. I don't know if that's quite correct because Johnny Garnett's all-time lap record came in race number 2 years ago. However, it is a brilliant lap indeed from Ronnie Harris. But swooping into the lead, I thought Soroviak was about to get in. Correa doing again. Have we got some spots of rain on the lens there, Elliot? Or am I just maybe imagining that there? Fingers crossed it will stay nice and dry here in Silverstone for the next 6.5 laps. And Correa once again going for that roundy outside move into Maggott and Beckett. He's just got so much confidence in his corner speed and the front end of that Honda, but Brown having none of that. He's just placing himself perfectly where he wants to be every single lap. Oh, it gets checked up a little bit by Soroviak there. Not sure if the number 75 had a bit of a bobble coming through Maggott and Beckett onto the hangar straight, but that second group now, Elliot, has really caught them, and Ronnie Harris, he's now making a move on McKay for 4th position. He has to slot back as McKay chops in front of Lucas Brown into 3rd.
Yeah, job done from the group behind, led by Harris. Fantastic stuff from the number 66 to drag the previous 4 riders up into the lead group. McKay was threatening to lose a couple of places there, but he said, no, I'm going to pinch a few myself. He was up to P3, he's just dropped back to P4 behind Lucas Brown, who's now in 3rd place. Has come in over the line to start lap 4. It's going to be Soroviak leading, but I don't think he's going to be leading for very long because Frost has pulled out the slipstream and he's going to dive at the inside at Abbey into the race lead.
Brilliant stuff there from Frost. How about this for the opening race of the day here at Silverstone British Talent Cup, race number 2. It's not even gone 9 o'clock local time here, but we're getting a big wake-up call now from these 10 riders at the front of the field. Bit of a bubble there from Soroviak as he tried to make a move on Brown. Harris, he's now come through the pack. He's up to 5th spot, so Ronnie Harris, he is now starting to head to his stride on bike 66. Look out for him on the black bike there, just behind Harrison McKay and Julian Correa. He was going for lead only a few moments ago. He's been shuffled further down the order, so has Emmanuel Brinton. So that was Brinton that swooped into 5th, and Ronnie Harris, his teammate. It's hard to get these, it's easy to get these bikes a little bit mixed up, but he's still a little bit further back. Brinton, he's the one in 5th, not Ronnie Harris.
Going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Obviously, the lead group of 5 yesterday will understand how it works going into the final few laps, but there's a few more riders to contend with now, so it's got to be they're going to have to be extra clever to try and put themselves in the best position possible in the next few laps to try and place themselves in that good position to try and get that run down the hanger straight and try and win this race or stand on the podium. This is going to be super interesting in the last 5.5 laps, see how this plays out. But it's the contenders who were at the front yesterday. I'm talking about Frost and Brown mainly, with Soroviak there just lurking and McKay doing well to stick into P4 at this moment in time. He finished 5th yesterday. That was his equal best finish of the season, so he'll be hoping for a P4 or better, of course, to try and get on the podium.
Yeah, it'd be great to see McKay try and get a first podium in British Talent Cup on the yellow helmet there. As you see Brown lift his back end up in the air, just trying to get behind that bubble. He is the tallest rider on the grid, him and Emmanuel Brinton, to be honest. The number 43 alongside his championship rival on the 29 are the 2 tallest riders in the field, and they are the top 2 in the championship, so they're doing extremely well to hustle these Honda 250 machines around the Silverstone circuit. The chasing group, they did catch up a lap and a half ago. They look like they might just be getting gapped ever so slightly as Brown makes a brilliant move around the outside of Frost into the club chicane. Now we're approaching half race distance now. 5 laps complete, 5 laps to go here. Race number 2, Correa now sets the fastest lap of the race. That is faster than his lap time from yesterday, 0.3 of a second faster than he did yesterday. So Correa, he's now making moves. Such a shame for Ronnie Harris. He's gone down at the club chicane and he was pushing so well. He just was losing a little bit of a gap to the top 6, so maybe pushing a little bit too hard. He's just lost the front.
Yeah, what a shame for Harris. He did all the hard work, bringing the group behind to the leaders, was getting in amongst it in the lead group, and unfortunately he's gone down at turn 16 into Vale. So you'd assume that he's just lost the front going into the hard braking zone here at Silverstone towards the end of the lap. Hopefully we'll get a replay, but good thing is he's walking and he'll be all okay. Obviously very frustrated at this moment in time, but he'll look back and he's had a good weekend so far. So yeah, unlucky for Harris. Unfortunately that's one leader out of this lead group.
Yeah, we've lost one. He did show great speed all weekend. We're now back to 6th with a bit of a gap back to Scott McPhee, Mason Foster and Clayton Edmonds. They're just becoming a little bit detached from this leading group, but these 6 have been the cream of the crop all weekend long in terms of speed, as Soroviak chops in front of your Cup Series leader Lucas Brown is Julian Correa in 3rd spot there. He's looking to do what he does so brilliantly into Maggots and Beckett's. Up the inside of Lucas Brown he goes on the 40 machine. Not quite, almost contact there with Lucas Brown. He must have to look over the shoulder and just make sure Correa isn't just coming over the top of them at any point. But Correa, he's really happy to get his elbows out into Maggots and Beckett's and trying to make a move stick into there, but they're maybe a little bit wiser than they were yesterday, because Julian Correa did make them look like they were standing still. Points have got 4 abreast, almost elbow to elbow stuff down the hanger straight. This is absolutely brilliant stuff in the British Talent Cup.
Certainly is. Coming down into Stowe corner then once again. Brown late on the brakes, hangs it around the racing line and keeps the race lead. Yeah, you're right about Correa. It's a fantastic part of the circuit, of course, but it's a fantastic part to be nailing as well. Into Maggots and Beckett's, it's pretty difficult to pass through there, and if you can get a good slingshot onto the hanger straight, it stands you in good stead for the latter sector of the lap, and we saw it yesterday, didn't we, from Correa? Brilliant stuff. It's a brave place to pass as well through into Maggots, one of the quickest corners on the circuit. Unfortunately, it's not worked out for him this time around. He did threaten to be in the top 3, but Correa just sitting in 4th place for now. And as I say that, he's probably going to hang it around the outside of it, get the ups inside at Farm Curve and take P3 and potentially P2. It's changing all the time here, Liam. 4 laps to go. This is exactly what we ordered this morning.
Absolutely, and the chasing group, they seem to have found a little bit more form. Scott McPhee's trying to bridge that gap to the top 6 on the previous lap there. Scott McPhee did set his personal best lap of the race, and he was a couple of tenths faster than your opening Charlie Barnes, the 20. He's had a disaster here in race number 2. He was given a long lap penalty for contact on lap 1. It took out George Bowes, and he's just gone down. A mechanical, it looks like, actually. So good thing there, didn't have a crash, but that's just compounding what has been a miserable Sunday here at Silverstone. It's such a shame to see when these young riders are trying so hard to impress in front of the MotoGP paddock for it all to be taken away because of something that is out of their control.
Yeah, shame to see. Difficult to see what happened there. Just sort of the bike got out of shape into Vale on the brakes, and then clearly there was something wrong with the bike for Bowes to not get going again. Charlie Barnes, sorry, to not be able to get going again. So yeah, unfortunate to see his race ended early, but focus switches back to the front. Josh Bannister has also had a crash down at turn 7, so hopefully Bannister is all okay on the number 2 machine. Good to see him walking away, so yeah, all okay. But yeah, a couple of riders then falling foul here at Silverstone.
Yeah, we'll see what happens here. That's into Brooklands. Now we go. Just loses front and almost collected another rider. Super lucky there not to collect the rider just in front. But if you're going to have a crash anywhere, Brooklands is maybe the best one to go, because you just slide into some soft grass on the outside. However, back at the front, it's the Super 6 into Stowe Corner. They go 3 and a bit laps remaining. After this one, Correa and everyone's out on the green, over onto the tarmac there. They'll have to watch out for that. They've been quite clean and good so far this weekend, have the riders. Not many penalties coming, or if any, during the races for exceeding track limits. But when the pressure cooker does get turned up to 11 with 3 laps to go in race number 2, we might just see a few more mistakes coming from these British Talent Cup riders who are putting on some show on Sunday morning here at Silverstone in front of the MotoGP paddock and the fans. And Soroviak on bike 75 once again takes the lead, but Brown brilliant around the outside. Here comes Correa on the white machine up the outside. He has to slot back into 4th. Brenton, he's now back up into 3rd. That's just playing music to the ears of Frost, who's keeping his powder dry, as he did in race number 1 yesterday before he took the win. And McKay, he seems to be able to just tag onto the back of this group, not really able to do much more than remaining 6th at the moment as they power down the Wellington Straight. Soroviak once more has just greater speed than Brown. Maybe it's the smaller frame to Brown, but even Sorovic, he's not a small rider. He is quite tall, but he's not quite as tall as Brown and Brenton. As Mason Foster now, he's now leading the charge for the second group. He did have some good race pace yesterday to eventually come to the front of the second group. He's on the green as well. He'll have to be careful that he doesn't do that too many more times. He might come a cropper of a long lap penalty, but it's Soroviak that leads, and Correa on the curb and on the green. He's powering around the outside potentially of Brown, not quite, but we are expecting a move from him into Maggots and Beckett's.
Yeah, keep your eye on Mason Foster. Set his personal best lap of the race last time around, a 2:20.5. The next nearest rider to that was McKay just in front of him, who also set his personal best lap of the race, a 2:20.9. So Foster a good 4 tenths quicker than everyone and more in that last lap. And you can see now Foster on the number 88 didn't have a good start. He's had a quiet race so far from his debut front row, but he's really getting himself back into the mix here on the number 88, and being dragged with him is Clayton Edmonds, I believe, just on the back of this group as well, and Scott McPhee, of course. Scott McPhee is in this group. He's now overtaken Foster again on the number 19 machine, so the group behind, who were just getting left behind a little bit, have now regrouped and got themselves back into the podium fight.
Yeah, there was Clayton Edmonds there making a move on Mason Foster on the City Lifting RS racing machine. Number 64 further back is his teammate Soroviak, looks for a move, and Brown 2 for 1 round the outside. Thank you very much. Into Club Chicane, I'll take that, and back into lead it goes the number 29, the Cup Series leader, as it cross lane for 2 more laps to go here at Silverstone, race number 2, Sunday morning here under cool and calm conditions. But Soroviak once more, he chops in front, but not Correa who carries the speed round the outside and to Abbey Curve. But Soroviak, he'll be looking for the outside line, but maybe Brown will take it into the loop. We go, Brown once more, the latest of the late breakers. Here comes McKay, he's making a move on Brenton a little bit further back. It's all chopping and changing as we go through the loop, and just under 2 laps to go. Elliot, this could be anyone's race.
Yeah, this is shaping up nicely, isn't it? Just what we expected to happen. Brown leading from the front. He loves to lead from the front, doesn't like anyone being ahead of him in the latter stages of the lap, and that move around the outside we saw a couple of times yesterday. We mentioned it earlier on. Fantastic on the brakes, but as you can see, down the finish straight, the Wellington straight just gets beaten up slightly. Does Brown, loses out, but hangs it around the outside to keep P3. But Soroviak is now your new race leader, and as I say, that Brown carves up the inside again of Correa. So as soon as he loses a couple of positions, he bites straight back.
Yeah, Soroviak, as you quite rightly mentioned, is really happy to lead from the front as they're 75, because as soon as he does get overtaken, he's right back nipping at the heels of the riders, just overtaking him for the lead. And as we power our way along the national pit straight into Cobbs, Soroviak leading by a couple of bike lengths, but Julian Correa has mega corner speed. He's just eaten into that advantage already, and that's what he sets him up so brilliantly for a move into Maggots and Beckett. He's trying his signature move, does Correa, and he's done it once again. Brown, he shuffled his championship rival back a couple of more positions, and it's Frost on the 24 race 1 winner yesterday. He's now looking to come into play here, and we've still got a leading group of 9 all the way back to Clayton Edmonds, who's only 1.2, or Mason Foster is now 1.2 seconds off the lead of this race. So any one of these 9 could find themselves on the podium here today as we approach Stowe Corner for the penultimate time. Looking out for Lucas Brown on bike 29, and he takes lead as we've seen so many times so far this weekend. Soroviak, he's been shuffled back into P2. Frost, he's now into 3rd spot. He's setting himself up for prime position into the final lap. Correa on bike 40, McKay still there as well, and McPhee in 7th spot. He's looking for his best result in a British Talent Cup as we come through the final corner for the penultimate time. One more lap to go for British Talent Cup here at Silverstone race 2 Sunday morning for the British Grand Prix. Soroviak leads away from Brown, from Frost, Brenton, Correa leading group of now, but Brenton, he's now making his way to the front. He's in 3rd, Correa's out wide at Abbey Curve into Farm, and Brown, he's now looking for a move late on the brakes, but Soroviak trying to hold it around the outside.
Yeah, Brown into the lead then early on in the second lap. We just saw Correa leading into Maggots and Beckett, and now he's down to P5, so the riders really don't want to be leading down the hanger straight because there's 9 riders all fancying a piece of podium action here at Silverstone. Coming onto the Wellington straight then, Brown still leading. Can Soroviak get into the slipstream? Brinton's right there as well. Frost is lurking as well on the number 24, the race 1 winner from yesterday. Down into Brooklands we go, 3 abreast for the lead. Soroviak up the inside, but Brown once again hanging it around the outside.
Amazing stuff from Brown, as we've seen so many times. Correa out a little bit wide. Can that be disaster for the Floridian on bike 40? But Brown timing this to absolute perfection. However, he will not want to lead onto the hanger straight. As we saw yesterday, whoever leads going onto it could come out at the back of the group. Soroviak, he's making the play for the lead here on bike 75. Frost on the 24 around the outside. McKay's there as well. So is McPhee, Foster and Edmonds. But around the outside, up the inside, Soroviak runs a little bit deep, and Brown once again takes the lead.
Yeah, here we go then into Maggots and Beckett's for the final time. Brown leading, Correa again up the inside, takes a 2-for-1 into Maggots and Beckett's. Another signature move, this time he's not leading the race. Who Brown is. Brown, this is probably not the position he wanted to be in. Correa in prime position, but any one of these top 4, top 5 could potentially be in this race. Slight contact in the mid-pack there, can't quite see who that was. I think it was Scott McPhee, potentially on the number 19. Down the hanger straight for the last time. This is what it all comes down to.
Well, a couple of more corners to go. Brown, he's not in a position he wants to be in. Correa, he now takes the lead, but Soroviak, Brenton and Frost round the outside again as he walks yesterday. But Brown on the 29 is late as you like, almost takes the lead, but had to slot into 3rd. He's now got a championship rival just ahead of him, but Soroviak brilliantly leads. 2 more corners to go into the club chicane we go. Soroviak, but Brown, look at that, round the outside, bit of a bobble in the front end. He runs a little bit deep. Can he make his stack? Yes, he can. But Soroviak, he's got this one to play for. Soroviak, after disaster, Jesse, he comes back to winning ways here at Silverstone in race number 2, from pole to victory for Soroviak. His 2nd victory of the season, his 3rd in British Talent Cup, ahead of Emmanuel Brinton, who does bring that championship advantage of Lucas Brown back down to 25 points. Frost, your race 1 winner yesterday, just misses out in the podium, and Julian Correa, unfortunately, just missed out after what was such a superb ride.
What another race in the British Talent Cup. Treated to absolute two barnstormers here at the British Grand Prix in front of the British Grand Prix crowd as well. Fantastic stuff from all these riders inside the top 9. 2.3 seconds split in the top 9 at the checkered flag. I'd love to see what happened at Maggots and Beckett's through Chapel as well. Just in the group, there was a slight contact which cost some of the riders behind a potential chance of a podium, but phenomenal stuff from Serowiak. Obviously disappointment yesterday despite his comeback to P13 from pit lane, but what a way to respond on Sunday morning.
Serowiak's Silverstone salvation. It was brilliant from Philip, who took victory here today, and he's absolutely pumped up with that one in front of the British fans, in front of the MotoGP paddock. He kept his powder dry, he was ice cool, and he was determined to make it victory here today. As we saw yesterday, he did have the pace for victory after that pit lane start. Emmanuel Brinton, he picked up second today's podium today, which is a good one from him. He'll be pleased with his overall result. He lost a point, I believe, a couple of points in the championship standings overall to Lucas Brown, who just does pop a wheelie in front of him. So the gap is back down to 25 points, and Lucas Brown on the number 29. That is job done for your Cup Series leader. Came into the weekend 22 points ahead of Brinton. He's extended that to 25 points heading into Thruxton next weekend.
Yeah, Brown again doing what he needs to do, just finish on the podium and be in amongst it with his fellow title contenders. Brinton, important for Brinton to beat Brown there into Vale. Brown hanging it around the outside, just late on the brakes. Superb stuff from Brown. I thought he was potentially going to go for the race win as well, as we get a replay of the final lap coming into Copse Corner. Serowiak taking the lead into turn 9, the fast sweeping right-hander. Then it was all about trying to get the run up through Maggots and Beckett's and position yourself perfectly for the run down the hanger straight into Stowe. This is the replay, Liam. Correa leading for a brief moment, Frost around the outside, and then look at Brown up the inside. Just fantastic stuff on the brakes. And then Serowiak doing all he needed to do into Vale and holding it around to the race win. Yeah, Brown, fantastic stuff around the outside as well, but Brinton getting it hooked up on the exit through the final corner of Club, just about keeping it on the straight and narrow, and importantly beating Brown in the title chase. Important points clawed back, but yeah, Brown, like I say, doing all he can. But what a race from the number 75. What a race from all of them. 4 tenths again, split in the top 4. Correa 7 tenths back in P5. Unfortunate for Correa to miss out on the podium. Foster, the rookie, doing well in the latter stage of the race, 1.2 seconds off. But what a race, what a start to British Grand Prix Sunday.
Well, if the fans were worried about getting up early for some racing action, too early, bleary-eyed coming into a Silverstone circuit, I think they can say at least we were there to watch what was probably one of the best British Talent Cup races you'll ever see around the Silverstone Grand Prix circuit. And obviously Filip Serowiak will be, well, over the moon. Unfortunately yesterday it didn't quite work out for the young Polish, half British rider, but today he did make amends. And look at it, you can even see through the visor there from the eyes, he's absolutely beaming from ear to ear as young Serowiak. And what a victory that one was from Brinton and Brown. Unfortunately Frost just missed out by only 0.05 of a second from the podium. Correa, Foster once again as 2 sixth places this weekend. Clayton Edmonds, he did take advantage of McKay and McPhee scrapping as he came onto the hanger straight, elbow to elbow. Kyle Payne, he runs at the top 10 for his best result of the season. For the back is Dan Goodman, Burrows, Raymond Jr., Peter Wills and Bill Harris, brother of Ronnie, who is starting to show good form in the British Talent Cup as the younger of the Harris brothers. But Lucas Brown, he did say it will be his final season in the category because he wants to move up to bigger things. As you can see, he's a very tall rider, so he'll be hoping to move up to something a little bit more powerful to maybe put his big frame around. So as we see, he does rely heavily on a slipstream to get down that straight. If he's in the front of the pack, as we saw coming onto the hang a straight, it is quite difficult for him to continue leading as they get to the end.
Yeah, definitely time for Brown to make the next step up in his career. He's obviously proved his pace in the British Talent Cup, especially this year, of course, but he's been a leading contender for a couple of years now. There's Lucas Brown, 15 podiums now, I make it, in the British Talent Cup. 2 wins to his name, of course, this year, and he's just doing, as we say, everything he needs to do to just slowly take more steps forwards towards the 2024 British Talent Cup title. This is a nice little slow-mo, Liam, of the final lap coming into Vale. Correa fancying a look up the inside, Frost there as well, but keep an eye on the 29 of Brown, late out of the bubble, cruising around the outsides, making it look easy. It's definitely not easy, I can tell you that. I've never done it myself, obviously, but you don't pass riders of these calibre sort of on the same bikes, of course, similar pace to you, and just make it look easy around the outsides. Phenomenal stuff from Brown, and yeah, a great way to start this Sunday here at Silverstone.
Well, before we get the podium ceremonies underway, we'll have a quick recap of the results. Saroviak takes his second win of the season, 0.2 of a second ahead of Brown, and well, Brinton and Brown, your series leader. Ryan Frost raced his race 1 winner, just missing out on the podium ahead of Julian Correa. Mason Foster, double P6 finish for him this weekend, ahead of Edmonds and McKay, just missing out on a good result. Scott McPhee finished 7th yesterday, 9th here today, ahead of Kyle Payne, who rounds out the top 10 for his best result of the season. Dan Goodman and 11th ahead of Jack Burrows. Joshua Raymond Jr., he picked up 14th yesterday, one better here today. Peter Willis next up in 14th, ahead of Bill Harris, your final points paying position. Ian Jones and Eli Banish, your next runners on riders. Just before we get to the bottom 20 is Alexander Rowan, Ben Jolliffe, Isaiah Devine and Samuel Munton, who came from the back of the grid. He couldn't make any more positions. Josh Bannister, Charlie Barnes, Ronnie Harris, George Bowes, who went down on lap number 1. They are your non-finishers, with Harley McCabe, who didn't even start the race due to a mechanical issue. So this is how it's looking for the championship. 211 points for Lucas Brown. He's extended his weekend as a whole up to 25 points ahead of Emmanuel Brinton. Ryan Frost 49 points further back. Julian Correa, he solidifies his 4th position, but for Philip Saroviak, he's now 86 points off your series leader. Mason Foster, he's jumped up 2 to 6th ahead of Harrison McKay. Ronnie Harris drops down 2 and Clayton Edmonds up to 9th. Harley McCabe, who didn't take the start, he drops down 1 position into 10th. George Bowes still in 11th ahead of Ollie Walker, Peter Willis. Scott McPhee moves up 1 with that great weekend he's had so far at Silverstone, ahead of Jack Burrows. Dan Goodman on 27 points ahead of Joshua Raymond Jr., who's had a very good weekend so far. Charlie Huntingford in 18th ahead of Kyle Payne, who moves up 2. He started at Snetterton a couple of rounds ago, so he's making good progress, out of Eli Banish and Alexander Rowan. Ben Jolliffe, Bill Harris, Josh Bannister and Tyler King round out your 25 riders. The British flag reigns supreme above the podium here at Silverstone. I'm sure the fans will be mightily happy with the sight of that after what was an outstanding, I'd say 11 out of 10 British Talent Cup race. Cannot get much better than what we've seen here at Silverstone. Yeah, absolutely brilliant racing in the British Talent Cup. Like we've said a couple of times already, we've seen it throughout the season. Of course, the winning margins have barely been over, well, they haven't been over a 1/10 of a second for most of the year. Obviously, Brown's victory in Snetterton, 19 seconds is the anomaly, but there's nothing else over 3/10 of a second. So this is close racing as ever, and Silverstone, obviously such a great track. The nature of the layout lends itself well to slipstream, and yeah, great battling, and what a weekend for these guys to come and show what they've got in front of the MotoGP paddock. As Brown makes his way to the podium, takes his place on the P3 spot. Another podium in 2024. He's running out of trophy space, I think, in the cabinet. I'm sure he's having to build a new one pretty much every weekend, Lucas Brown. Yeah, he's well and truly on his way to British Talent Cup glory, but Emmanuel Brinton is still there, not giving up this one, 25 points further back, but the day belongs to young Philip Saroviak on Team City Lifting RS Racing as they take the trophy for the winning team here today, and big smiles. They're also running out of trophy space on their cabinet as the RS Racing team. Anna Espeleta hands over the third place trophy to your Cup Series leader. A big thumbs up. That's 2 podiums, second and third place here so far this weekend, as Emmanuel Brinton receives the second place trophy from Anna Espeleta once more. That's some solid points for young Brinton, but the taste of victory is too sweet for Filip Sorowiak as he takes his second victory of the season and what has to be one of his best in his career, as we now hear the national anthem for Great Britain. God Save the King rains out around Silverstone on Sunday here at the British Grand Prix. And Elliot, what a way to start off proceedings here today.
Yeah, we're in for a fantastic British Grand Prix Sunday. And as we've said, brilliant racing in the British Talent Cup. Exactly what we expected coming into this weekend. 2 phenomenal races, and they get to do it all again at Thruxton. The final 3 rounds of the season coming up as the riders head back to the British Superbike paddock.
They do indeed. Right, so this is how it all played out in race number 2 here on Sunday at Silverstone. It was Sorowiak from pole position, but it was Frost that got the whole shot into turn number 1. Correa on bike 40, he slotted into second early doors. However, there would be some contact a little bit further back with Bose and Charlie Barnes into turn number 3. Unfortunately, Bose was out immediately, with Barnes coming a cropper of a long lap penalty before he ran into some mechanical problems a few laps later. It was the same 5 again at the front, with Filip Sorowiak coming to the party. But once again, Brown into Stowe Corner was absolutely mighty, as he was yesterday. The top 5 pulling clear of the chasing pack, but it wouldn't be long before the chasing pack would quickly close up. But we had our winner from, well, our victor from yesterday finishing 4th, but Sorowiak, Silverstone salvation from Sorowiak as he wins here, race number 2 at Silverstone.